of the enduring images from Afghanistan during the Taliban takeover is of a Marine pulling an Afghan baby to safety over a wall in Kabul. Former President Trump brought that service member on stage during his rally last night in Georgia. Watch this.
Lance Corporal Hunter Ian Clark. Lance Corporal, come up here. Come up here. Come up, handsome guy. Hunter comes from a military family and went to school right here in Perry, Georgia. Can you believe that? Come on up here, Hunter.
I am the guy that pulled the baby over the wall, and it's definitely probably one of the greatest things I've ever done in my entire life. I just want to thank all the support from all y'all. It really means a lot. And I'm glad to be home now today. Thank you.
You know, Laura, I got to say, I miss those rallies. You know, they're very serious. They're very substantive. They're also a whole lot of fun, and they're very spontaneous. But I think that I always liked them because they're sort of a wonderful display of America. Do you think the country is ready to get back to rallies like that?
Well, I think the answer is yes. Look at the crowd that was there last night with my father-in-law. Absolutely. And how refreshing, by the way, that we are taking a service member, somebody who serves our country, and we are propping them up and we are recognizing them and applauding them instead of vilifying them like we have so sadly seen so many times by the Biden administration, as we've talked about in previous segments. It's just what America is all about, getting behind one another. You heard the USA chants there. I mean, gosh, couldn't we all use a little more of that Trump rally spirit right now in America? I sure hope we see them all coming back in a more rapid fashion going forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that that people would be delighted to get back to some of those. You know, Joey, another sort of very stirring moment was that sight during the rally of the 13 empty chairs there at the rally on the front row there. What was your reaction to that when you saw that?
No, I think it's a phenomenal thing. I mean, we've seen college football teams. We've seen the Atlanta Braves there, not far from that rally, did something very similar. They draped 13 American flags over seats in the stadium the next day. And honestly, I just hope this is a moment that as Americans we say, you know what, the former president of the United States is honoring these men and women who gave their lives, bringing a Georgia Marine up on stage. I'm from Georgia, so that obviously warmed my heart. And I hope that the president of the United States takes a cue and does a little bit more to honor these men and women. You know, he says the buck stopped with him, and this isn't just about blame. I'm not gonna go there right in this moment, but we need to honor those men and women. That's 13 lives that were lost in an operation to end a war that we spent 20 years over, and those 13 names, they hurt it especially bad. And I can say that as someone who lost dozens of my own friends over those years. That's not how we wanted to end it, and I appreciate the president, the former president there, honoring them and acknowledging them.
Yeah. Alicia, you know, obviously we've spent a lot of time, and I think justifiably so, talking about the disastrous mistakes that have been made, I think, by the commander-in-chief and top generals in Kabul and Afghanistan. You know, do we do a good enough job in the press of separating out what I would consider atrocious poor judgment of military leaders in a place like Kabul from the really extraordinary service and heroism of people like that Marine that President Trump brought up on stage?
Right, because we all need a little more of that, right, to acknowledge the people who have done such wonderful things. And I cannot watch that video without getting choked up. When the corporal gets up there and you can see the emotion still there, he's going to carry that for the rest of his life. It's so hard not to feel for him, to be there with him, but also to appreciate him, right? To appreciate all that was done. And it is so beautiful that they were also able to acknowledge and honor the 13 U.S. service members who were lost at that Abbey Gate attack. But getting back to your question, I think you have a good point there, right? Reporters have been from all stripes. It doesn't matter which side. Everyone has been pressing this administration now. Some may not as others, but pressing the administration and as well as our military leaders on exactly what went down. It's been a rough month or so for this administration and for this country, but it would be nice to see more honoring of U.S. service members and all that they sacrifice and all that they do, because I think we need it as a country. We do need to acknowledge the mistakes that have been made, but equally it is important to know the lives and the names of our heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really do think that it is so vitally important for all of us, both who cover politics, but also just sort of everyday Americans, to remember that that for however bad these decisions are at the highest levels of the military, you've got literally the best that America has to offer on the ground, carrying out those duties and performing unimaginable tasks and doing it with enormous grace and enormous humanity, and it's an important thing for all of us to remember.